Good morning. It is currently Sunday as I am filming this, and I'm going to wrap up this week's video here. I had an eventful week. I went grocery shopping on Tuesday, and it was fairly stressful. I hadn't had such a stressful grocery shop in a while. Usually when I go grocery shopping, it's very early in the morning. The store has just opened. It's a slightly more isolated grocery store that I go to. It's in an area that's still kind of under development, so there's not a lot of traffic normally, but this time it was just full of people. And first time I've seen people in there not wearing their masks. They have signs everywhere that you're supposed to be wearing your masks. I don't know what that was about. They looked like tourists, to be honest. You can tell in Miami when someone's a tourist. They don't look like they are Miamians. These people looked more like from the West Coast. They did not have a Florida look to their attire or personality. It was weird. It was uncomfortable because they kept hovering near where I was, and I didn't feel comfortable or safe there. And I kind of like ruined my morning for me. It really stressed me out in a way that I haven't been stressed out or anxious since the very beginning of lockdown, when we didn't even wear masks, and I was going to the grocery stores and like running through as quickly as I could, and shelves were empty and people were fighting for like basic essentials. So it wasn't that bad, but like it felt almost like that kind of anxiety, which I haven't felt in like a year. So that was not a great start to the week. That was actually Tuesday. So Monday was just a normal day working at home, but Tuesday morning is when I prepared, I set up, I went in. I usually go Tuesdays because that's when, stuff has generally been restocked from the weekend. So I don't like to go in on Monday because there might still be restocking from like whatever was sold on Sunday. It was not a good vibe. And then on Friday, I had to go to the DMV. My license expires this year. I still have a few months, but I had seen that they had closed down most of the DMVs locally. There's only like 6 of them in the entire county that are open. They've like situated them at like major areas of the county, and all the other DMVs are only handling commercial vehicles. So that is, I think, like a really bad decision in my opinion, because what's happening is that everyone is basically like, bottling into these DMVs because there's only 6 of them. So I signed up for my appointment last month, got my appointment. It was noon. I don't really like doing things at noon. I'd rather get them done early in the morning, but it was the first appointment I could find. Went in. They were 2 hours behind when I got there. Did my thing, stood around. Finally at 3 o'clock, I got to the last line. There were 3 lines. Well, first there was no line because I was just told to hover around until a line was formed for my hour. By the time I got there, they were still just lining up the people for 10 a.m. So 2 hours behind. Finally, 3 p.m. I get to the line that leads into the place. Like, it's like the last line before you get into the waiting room to wait for the doctor inside. So I'm standing there. I'm so like jazzed because I'm like, okay, maybe 1 more hour. I'll be out of here in 1 more hour. Super uncomfortable also because if the grocery store had felt risky, like this was insane. There were just, at that point, because we were like 3 hours behind, people just kept showing up. It was in a mall. This DMV is right across from the food court of a mall, so people are walking around, they're eating. There's a lot of people not wearing their masks. People who are there for the DMV are required to wear their masks, but they're like taking their masks off to like text people, which seems so bonkers to me. Like, why would you take your mask off to send a text? So masks kept coming on and off all the time. People kept like coming way too close to me, so I kept having to like switch around and move around until finally I had a line to line up in. Lady behind me kept coughing and saying that she just had allergies. When we got to the final line, the woman who was taking our temperatures was like, you gotta leave. This was after she'd been behind me for like hours. And she was like, no, I've got allergies. And the woman's like, I don't think you have allergies. At one point, she also had to like step out of the line and sit down because she was like gonna pass out. And that was like really uncomfortable in general. Just like everything compiled one after another. Well, long story short, I get to the line and we're waiting like maybe 20 minutes. A woman comes out and says, system's been down for 40 minutes. It went down this morning and it came back up. So you can stick around and wait and see if it comes back up. At that point, remember, they were 3 hours behind. Or you can reschedule your appointments. So at first I thought, well, let me wait. I've been here for 3 hours. I'm so close. I'm like at the line right before I get into the place. Let me stick around. So I waited another like 30 minutes. And so by that point, it's like 3:30. The lady who's at the front was like, you might as well go home, because at this point it was statewide. It wasn't just the DMVs. It was like DCF and all the other state organizations and offices were texting each other, telling one another like, hey, is your server up? Is your server up? So it was like coming down from, the state offices that the whole statewide server was down. So I was really disappointed. It felt awful because I went home and it was like, so I wasted my day. I mean, I don't care about the wasting the day part, but it's like, I wasted my day while putting myself at risk, being way too close physically to people who were kind of shady in their coughing behaviors and not wearing their masks properly. And I achieved absolutely nothing. So that felt like I came home and I was just so down and dejected. Like it like hit my feelings in a way that was like, it kind of just destroyed the rest of the day. Like I came home and I laid down and I physically did not want to move. Like I showered because I had to get whatever was on me right off. I just showered and lay around. My boyfriend brought me dinner because I felt like I had gone into like this super deep depression because emotionally I was spent, and I had also been standing for, that amount of time. So my legs were not feeling great. If you don't know, I sprained my ankle less than like 5 months ago, like 4 months ago. What is time anymore? I think it's 5 months ago. And it's still not 100% since the sprain. I've kind of like, once you sprain an ankle, it's very prone to spraining again. So I sprained it and it's kind of like been tweaked a couple times, most recent time like over the holidays. So that was like a little bit over a month ago. My holidays, not like Christmas, but like when I was taking my vacation into January. So like some point in January, I like tripped a little, tweaked it a bit. And a few weeks ago, I also like, not quite as badly, but like, again, like tripped in a hole and tweaked it. So my ankle was protesting a fair bit during that whole time. So when I got home, like I physically ached and I emotionally ached, and my weekend, like today, I'm feeling a little bit better, but like even this morning, I didn't really feel like getting up. I'm usually, up and awake and productive, but some days it's just not possible. And I've decided to slow down. Like even yesterday, I was working on my goal of 3 chapters a day. For some reason, I did the math wrong and I thought I could finish up in 7 days if I read 3 chapters a day, because for some ungodly reason, I thought I had 21 chapters. I actually have 28 chapters. I don't know what I thought. I think I originally had 21 chapters and I didn't like compute that chapter numbering had changed as I like split stuff up to make more sense for this draft. So I have to go back and I'm going to be reading into this week. If I can stick to 3 chapters, maybe I'll be able to give myself like a couple of days off to like look things over and organize and mentally prepare to start the revision. But for the most part, I'm probably just going to keep writing and we'll see. So that's that. I had a interesting week. I'm debating whether or not I even want to get a COVID test. I live alone. I'm not really seeing my mom. Part of my anxiety is that my mom and my grandmother sort of depend on me. My mom can't really go out right now because of everything, because she's got a lot of health vulnerabilities. My grandmother has Alzheimer's and has declined to the point where she's like semi-bedbound now. Like this last year has been really bad on her mental state, and her decline has been rapid. So my mom can't do much. So they do depend on me to help them, to take stuff. They have a home health aide who comes from my grandmother, but it's been difficult. And she, can't do everything for them. So I have to do a lot for them. So me staying safe isn't just for me, it's for them. I'm required to help out and stuff if something should come up. So I don't want to be in a vulnerable state, but I'm debating, like, you have to wait a certain amount of days if you do catch COVID for it to show up on a test. So it's not like I could go today and find out. I would need at least a couple more days. But then I'm also at home, so I think, like, if I just quarantine for 2 weeks, I don't know. I might end up going or not this week, maybe Wednesday. It would have been enough time for it to show up on a PCR, since that's what the university is offering, free tests for faculty, and I haven't had a test since last year, so we'll see. Anyhow, I have another day at the DMV planned for the end of the month, because I found one slot about 2 hours away by driving. So maybe like an hour and a half. It's pretty far. It's like super down south, but I thought, well, this place looks like it's just a DMV rather than a mall, so maybe there will be at least just DMV people, not DMV people plus people shopping at Marshall's and eating in a food court. That's the plan. So hoping that one succeeds, because I don't want to have to do this a third time. That would be just like needless torture. So I'm gonna end this vlog here. I'll talk to you guys later. I keep looking in the wrong direction, I know, but I'm distracted by the sight of the cats behind the camera. So I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you have a good week. Hope I have a better week than I had this week. See you guys later. Bye.